Decolonization. What is it and how can organizations implement it in the context that they are working in? So let's talk about a couple of ideas based on my own experience doing this work. First of all, decolonization means different things to different people. And when we bring in a global discussion and perspective, if you're a global organization, that diversity of perspective, experience, and opinions can grow even further. So it's really important that we have a working definition to help guide any conversations or work that we want to do on the concept of decolonizing. For some people, decolonization means acknowledging the past and the hurt and the harm that was done by it. For others, it means not only acknowledging, but taking actions to correct that past. And for others, it means focusing on how we are working now and trying to find ways to deconstruct power dynamics and to introduce more equity and fairness in how we work now. One thing that I share, which is common in my work in diversity, equity, inclusion, gender equality, and women's empowerment, as well as decolonization, truth and reconciliation, is that we should not see this as just a program that we develop and deliver in silo, but however, we should look at it as both the way we behave and act as human beings and how we think and how we operate in the world, as much as it is a programmatic endeavor and a type of work that we do at work. So for me personally, we need to decolonize our own minds individually and really have the space and the opportunity to think about how we have internalized colonized beliefs and ideas and how they influence our perspectives and how we navigate the world. There's a lot of personal work to do around that. And then also look at the organization as an entity and how it behaves and where there are opportunities to do better. Now, there are many potential frameworks that you can anchor your work in. I certainly refer to frameworks that have been developed by thought leaders and practitioners in the space. But in general, what I want to acknowledge is that there is a bit of a trajectory in terms of how you decolonize. So it's important to, look at that literature and understand that there are different ways to show up and different degrees to which we decolonize, and that an organization's success depends very much on situating their commitment inside of that broader conversation about what are we doing. Because I've seen this happen with gender mainstreaming as well, when an organization says we are mainstreaming gender equality, but actually what they're doing is integrating gender equality. And so you don't get the same results when you mislabel things and you don't understand what you're doing, and it sets you up for failure. If you are the kind of organization that works in community settings or with community groups, it's really important that decolonization work is contextualized to that specific community or group, as opposed to having a one-size-fits-all approach across the board. So really good change work, whether it's DEI, gender equality, decolonization work, involves having an overarching framework that everybody can see their work inside of, and then having guiding questions and a space within that framework where you contextualize your insights, your understanding of power dynamics, your appreciation and perspectives and partnership with local people in terms of what decolonization, what equity and fairness looks like for them in that context. So just to give you an example, in First Nations communities, that might look like a gift of tobacco to start a relationship. And if that gift of tobacco is accepted, then you are now in relationship with that community. Whereas in countries like Ethiopia, that might take the form of sitting down and having a meal with a local community family, maybe a leader's family, as part of establishing that relationship. So while the overarching framework might say, decolonizing the way we establish relationships with local communities, the way it takes shape in practice depends on where you are and what is relevant in that context. So these are just some very small examples of the kinds of things that we navigate when we're doing decolonization work. If you are interested in doing some decolonization work in the Canadian context or overseas, if you are working in community projects or looking to decolonize the way you do work in your sector, I would love to partner with you. Please do reach out to me if you're interested in doing staff sessions on understanding decolonization and, in the Canadian context, truth and reconciliation. Please reach out. These are topics that I'm very passionate about. I have done a lot of work in, and I consider it an honor to support this cause by partnering with organizations and supporting their ability to do this work meaningfully.